Good morning. I'd like to call the Lyon County Board of County Commissioners to order. Today's Thursday, January 15th, 2026, 9:00 a.m. Board of County Commissioners convening these other boards. Members of the Board of County Commissioners also serve as the Liquor Board, Central Lyon Vector Control District Board, Mason Valley Mosquito Abatement District Board, Walker River Weed Control District Board, Willow Creek General Improvement District Board, the Silver Springs General Improvement District Board, and during this meeting may convene as any of these boards as indicated on this or separately posted agenda. Note this meeting may break between 11:30 and 1:30 for lunch. All commissioners are present and in chambers. The invocation is going to be given by Chris Johnson of the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints, and followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Hendricks.
Invite thy spirit to be here in this meeting as discussions go forth and all things are considered for decisions that need to be made, and that thy inspiration will come to all those present, and there can be information presented with respect and kindness, and the decisions can be taken in the best interests of all residents of the county or the other affected items that will be necessary, and those decisions can lead to the best fiscal and other opportunities to serve the communities. We're grateful for the opportunity to serve in this great community and to have the opportunity to help those that need assistance. And this we say in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This brings it to public participation. No action will be taken on any item until it's properly agendized. It is anticipated that public participation will be held at this time, though may be returned to at any time during the agenda. Citizens wishing to speak during public participation are asked to state their name for the record and will be limited to 3 minutes. The board will conduct public comment after discussion on each agenda item, but before the board takes any action. Do we have any public participation?
Once again, I'm here to ask you to put speed bumps or some sort of traffic control on Osborne Lane. The traffic is not slowing down, and until something gets done to slow it down, either signage or speed bumps, it's not going to happen. Last time I talked to the county manager, he put the whole problem on the sheriff, which isn't fair. The sheriff doesn't have the budget for enough manpower to patrol that area and keep somebody out there 24/7, which it would take to catch all the speeders. So that brings it back to you people. The problem's with the county. You need to do something.
Thank you. Do we have any other public participation? Nothing in the room, nothing online. So we'll move on to number 5 for possible action, review and adoption of the agenda. Has everybody read it? Any changes? Motion?
move to approve the agenda as posted.
Second. We have a motion by Commissioner Hendricks, second by, oh wait, is there any public comment? Seeing none in the room, none online. We have a motion by Commissioner Hendricks, second by Commissioner Casanelli. Those in favor say aye. The motion passes 5-0. 6, time certain at 9:00 a.m. for possible action. Recommend a course of action to the state engineer in regards to application 94668T filed by the city of Yerington on August 21st, 2025 for temporary change the place and manner of use of a portion of permit 65299. The existing place of use is within Lyon County, and the proposed place of use is within both Lyon and Mineral counties in the Walker River Hydraulic Basin. And the county manager isn't here, so we have Dr. Holmes.
Good morning, Dr. Shayla Holmes, Director, Lyon County Human Services. For the record, standing in for County Manager Haskin, he is online if I fumble this too poorly. However, this permit was already approved by the state water engineer, so you guys do not need to take action on it at this time. You can approve it, or you could table it or continue it, however you guys see fit to move forward.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment?
Jim DeChambeau, I'm against this permit. It shouldn't be taken out of the city. It shouldn't be used for this construction project. It's inappropriate. If they want water, they can drill a well on in Mineral County and get water rights.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Bring it back to the board. Any comments? Commissioner Jacobson?
I see a gentleman from the city here today, and just, I know that it was, I believe when we discussed this, it was sent back to discuss an open meeting, and just how did that go? And hear your thoughts. I appreciate your time here.
No problem. Jerry Bryan, interim city manager for the city of Yerington. This was approved by the city board back in August of last year. That was a publicly held meeting. It was a well-attended meeting. The board did approve it. That was the application itself to submit to the state engineer. The state engineer did also approve this. We've been in contact with their office regarding this. What they're doing is they're actually pulling it from South Lyon County, utilizing it on the site for the first year. And this is while they construct a well on site, so that in the future they can pull it on site and use the water on site as well. So that is the long-term plan for it. But again, the state engineers also already approved it.
I know that you don't work for you're not the water company or anything, but do you happen to know if they applied for that? Are they already drilling the well, or is there time still?
There's time still on that. I believe that they're still going through some permitting on that in order to begin construction of the well. And the applications are also in process.
Okay, because I'd like to see that in Lyon County. I've had that conversation with you.
Yep.
Because that water district, it still belongs to the water district and it's temporary. And it just makes sense to have it in Lyon County, the well. So we'd have to go through BLM to do so. Otherwise, it would be in the other county, and that this is just temporary. What would be for us is a temporary permit for that interim time, right?
That's correct. Everything that we're putting before you is also temporary. The city is not forfeiting any water rights in any of this. It is a temporary use, and just for a span of roughly 2.5 years. Our agreement says 3, but the end date is June 30th, 2028.
Yeah, it's a temporary use, but it is a funding mechanism for the water.
It is. Just to give a little bit of insight to that, the city of Yerington currently faces about $1 million deficit this year in our enterprise funds for water and sewer. This agreement that we're working on, not that it's always financially motivated, but it does help alleviate some of that burden. The reservation fee is just over $600,000, and the pumpage fee, which they're incentivized to minimize use as much as possible, would be as much as $375,000 for the city. And again, that financial lift would help alleviate the need to actually raise rates on the users to close that gap with the deficit.
So even though it wasn't considered, it's an added bonus benefit.
Correct. And like I said, it's, we never want the financial side to push anything to do with limited resources. However, we do want to be aware that agreements such as this do also help alleviate that burden on the end users, because otherwise we'd have to go back to every user with about 2,100 users on our system. That's about a $700 a year increase to make that gap close.
Commissioner Hockaday.
Thank you, Chairman Keller. Yeah, I've talked to several people about this, and originally was objecting to it. However, having talked to just about anybody I could on the issue, they're going to get the water. Talking to the head of the company, their permits have been. I mean, they are waiting for that. They will be digging a well because, as you recall, they said, oh, they would have it within a year. I think I made a comment about they should have worked ahead of time and taken care of this, but for the most part, they're going to pull it out to put water on the roads, and it's going to happen. So I'm not sure how we're going to move forward since it's already been approved by the state engineer. I don't know that our actions are going to do much.
No, we just go on the record that we supported the project. That's the only thing. Any other comment?
Commissioner, if you, do you mind if I add one more thing just for the
Sure,
record?
go ahead.
That is, as part of the approval from the state engineer on this, there is also the requirement that an annual beneficial use be filled out as well. And that is a requirement of their approval, and
Yeah.
that comes from the city.
Does go to the purpose of beneficial use, so it can be used. Do we have a motion?
Do we even need to take action on this since it's already been approved?
Only if we're want to show support. Because it's already approved, but if we want it on the record that we support the city of Yerington with the water company, basically on their, what they're trying to do.
And for me, I was originally opposed to this until I got more information and realized that it would definitely prevent rate increases for the city of Yerington. And they're elected officials just like we are, and I'm inclined to just let them handle their own business. So I'll recommend approval.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Hendricks, second by Commissioner Jacobson. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Time certain 9:05. 9:05 a.m. for presentation only. A presentation from the Burnley Boys and Girls Club of Truckee Meadows. Oscar Aguilar. Welcome.
For the record, Oscar Aguilar, Area Director for the Boys and Girls Club of Truckee Meadows, serving Fernley and Lovelock. Let me just sign my name here. Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. As I said, my name is Oscar Aguilar, and I serve as the Area Director for the Boys and Girls Club of Truckee Meadows and Fernley. I appreciate your time and continued commitment to the families and youth of our county. So who is the Boys and Girls Club of Truckee Meadows? So Boys and Girls Club of Truckee Meadows currently serves youth in 7 counties. So we're in Reno, Sparks, Lovelock, Winnemucca, Ely, Eureka, and Tonopah. And then once we go into the next slide, I'll kind of touch base on what Truckee Meadows is. So Boys and Girls Club of Truckee Meadows has supported rural Nevada communities since 2007 using a shared services model designed for sustainability and accountability. Truckee Meadows provides centralized operational support, including financing, accounting, human services, payroll, staff training, and compliance, grant writing, reporting, marketing, and special event support. On the local side, so each of our, in each of the counties that we provide service to youth in, each of them have their own area director and their own local boards. So with this approach helps eliminate the overcosts locally while maintaining a strong financial control and transparency, ensuring responsible use of all funds. While we benefit from this regional infrastructure, Fernley maintains local control over our club's operation, and we have our own local board of directors, and we work together collectively to raise awareness fundraise for our local community. Reno helps offset the cost of looking for grants, if we need to hire additional staffing. And so basically they're the mothership. So they help alleviate all of the burdens that it would cost a new business to start up. So the local nonprofit to start up. So they help offset all of that by having a centralized location, having a dedicated marketing team, grants team, HR team. So we can focus on serving more kids, getting connected with more families in each of our communities. So I'm here to talk to you about just a little update on our Friendly Boys and Girls Club. So if you're not too familiar with our club, we are currently in the Community Resource and Response Center, which I'll kind of touch base a little bit on that on the next slide. We are in the 3 elementary schools, so Cottonwood, Fernley Intermediate and Elementary, and East Valley Elementary. So we currently have a before and after school in East Valley and Cottonwood, and then we transport youth and teens from Silverland Middle School, Fernley High School, Fernley Intermediate, and Fernley Elementary to the Community Resource and Response Center. We typically only charge $20 a year for a membership, which if you're kind of familiar with the Costco, Sam's Club, you pay the $20 to gain access to all of the benefits from that club. We offer a before school for $80, and that's for the entire month, $120 for the afternoon. We offer financial assistance to those that are in need. We never turn any youth away for our inability to pay. So currently in Fernley, as I stated, we serve youth from Cottonwood, East Valley, and then we call the Community Resource and Response Center the Fernley Clubhouse. Just because it's a little bit easier for our residents in Fernley just to minimize the acronyms, all of the words that come with the CRRC. So currently we serve a little over 800 youth. In the clubhouse, we see a daily participation of 229 kids. And I just want to take a moment to also thank this board for their contributions in supporting the Community Resource and Response Center. With this support, we've been able to outreach to more families to utilize the Boys and Girls Club to get more kids connected to academic enrichment and also provide support to those families that need it. So just some demographics in the city of Fernley of the youth that we serve and families. About out of the folks that we currently have in our system, about 49% of the household income, 46%, sorry, excuse me, 46% of the household incomes are about 55,000 annual income or less. Those are the kids that are, we call them our 52104s, which is our models, the kids that come either once a week, twice a week, and utilize our services. So those are the kids that are there as soon as mom or dad need to go to work, and that's either at 6:30, and they're typically one of the last kids that get picked up at 6 p.m. I can tell you that from this demographics, we see a lot of families that utilize our services as a family unit during the months that cause a lot of financial burdens. So it's starting from October, ending to about the new year. So we see an increase of support services coming from our Boys and Girls Club through our food pantry, holiday help program, helping kids find costumes for Halloween, and Thanksgiving meal kits that we put out throughout the community. So our Community Resource and Response Center, which a lot of folks took the time to raise awareness and meet the need of additional support for childcare services in the city of Fernley. So again, I thank this board for their continued support. My Boys and Girls Club of Truckee Meadows truly appreciates every person, every stakeholder that took the time to continue supporting this initiative. Sometimes we get questions of, so how do you guys fundraise? Like, what are some fundraising efforts that you put on? So we host two fundraisers throughout the year, and currently one is called Passport to Party, and the other one's the awards banquet. Passport to Party is a new fundraiser we introduced to support our continued services internally, which we introduce different cuisines from all out of the planet, so different cuisines from different countries, and we do an alcohol pairing with it just to add to that experience. And then we have bands, silent auction, we have artwork from kids, stuff like that, and we have poster boards with the story of our members. So you can see firsthand what what fundraising looks like and how it portrays on the inside with our members. And then so our next project, so continuing the second phase of the Community Resource and Response Center, we are looking ahead, and we're excited for the Fernley Early Learning Center opening in fall of 2026. This center will serve children ages 6 weeks to 5 years of age, including a free NV ready pre-K for eligible families. So we include with our services for this center itself, meals, wipes, infant formula, supporting working families and improving kindergarten readiness. And then we were able to on our end, the Fernley Early Learning Center was fundraising efforts from the Boys and Girls Club of Truckee Meadows. So we efforts on raising money for that center itself. And in closing, thank you for your time, and just we want to say that the Boys and Girls Club of Truckee Meadows is committed to being a responsible, accountable partner in serving Fernley and its county. Thank you for your time, leadership, and continued investment of our youth. And I'm happy to answer any questions if there is any.
Any questions or comments? Commissioner Jacobson.
Thank you. Thank you, Oscar, for being here today. It's not a secret. Truckee Meadows has carried us for years. And they continue to support Fernley and Lyon County that way, without a doubt. We've had a presentation from CHA Community Health Alliance, and I know that in taking tours and visiting, they work close. They've worked at some of those centers with the Boys and Girls Club in Reno Sparks, and bringing out. I know Oscar Delgado is out and presented, and they're talking about bringing the mobile unit out. Is that something that the Boys and Girls Club at in Fernley can work with them to get a place set up and to have families come in and utilize that to see if it takes off and goes, so we could maybe use that elsewhere in the county?
Yeah, the Community Health Alliance is already a partner with the Boys and Girls Club of Truckee Meadows. They currently we're in the city of Reno. The Needle Road facility is a shared community space, meaning that the Community Health Alliance has one side of the facility, and then we have the other side where we hold our operations, so before and after school. And I'm very familiar with Oscar Delgado, and the Boys and Girls Club of Truckee Meadows. We do whatever it takes to help our families out. So there's plenty of parking out in the Community Resource and Response Center, so that's a place that they were looking to open up a mobile unit, and I'm sure we'd be more than willing to accommodate.
Right on. And then just a little bit, how much for that early learning childhood center raised, and how much will come out of taxpayers' pockets in Lyon County?
So no money would be coming out of taxpayers' monies. This was all through enterprise fundraising of almost don't have it down to the dollar sign. but up to about $4 million to get the Early Learning Center up and running, and including a fence to secure the perimeter and provide a little sense of security to the youth that would be attending.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. And for all you do for work. I don't think people realize how valuable a service is like this for families that have working mom and dad, or single parent family that have kids and are trying to get by. And this is definitely fills the void and alleviates some of that stress and pressure. So thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you because the services you provide are so vital with the cost of normal daycare. A 2-person working household, one whole income goes to childcare, and you do so much more than just babysit. So I just want to thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, Oscar. I'm a past president of the Boys and Girls Club of Mason Valley, and I just wish Boys and Girls Club wasn't so territorial, and we could have included Fernley in the Mason Valley Boys and Girls Club instead of Truckee Meadows. But you guys do good work, and we have Hawthorne in our club, but yeah, it's wherever they're located, they do good stuff. And
yeah, and over time we formed a state alliance, so all of the CEOs, all of the Boys and Girls Club chapters work together on raising awareness. And I just want to, we heard the news of the Youth of the Year here in Yerington, and I know our teen center and Fernley will be coming out to support the Youth of the Year for Mason Valley. So our heart and support goes to the family and our Boys and Girls Club family out here.
Commissioner Hockaday.
Yeah, thank you for coming, Oscar. Appreciate it. Bounced around the country quite a bit in my lifetime, and you always hear Boys and Girls Club, but until I moved to Nevada and found out exactly how much you do, it's just very much appreciated by the community. And you do a phenomenal job. I really appreciate y'all doing the work that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Oscar. I've got a quick question. With economic development, that's a big thing for Lyon County on both ends. But we also have economic development in other regions like up at Trick, Story County. Do you know how many people use that opportunity to go to Fernley and drop their kids off and go back to Trick? Because I know it's a 2-hour thing and they don't allow, a lot of the daycares will not take people that work out of Trick.
So a lot of the workforce that we service works at USA Parkway, or they're working in Fallon. So our operations, that's why we open up at 6:30 in the morning, because those are the early commuters that drop off their kids at each of the before school programs. And then they're typically, depending on what time whatever shift is getting off, usually we see those kids getting picked up at 4 or 5, and the latest is 6 o'clock. But we do have a good amount of parents and families from the USA Parkway, the Story County region, that utilize our services.
Thank you. It's a great program, and it shows that it's regional. I mean,
yeah.
It's for everybody. So thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you.
This brings us to Commissioners, County Managers reports. I'll start off with Commissioner Jacobson.
Thanks, Chair. Did a quick walkthrough on the Fernley courthouse coming right along. And then been a short time, but just my condolences to the family of Robert Garcia. Also, my thoughts and prayers are with the Mason Valley Boys and Girls Club, his friends, and all of Yerington High School that suffered this terrible loss. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Hendricks.
Yeah, I too would like to give my condolences to the whole community of Mason Valley and the Boys and Girls Club. I attended the Silver Springs Advisory Board meeting the Stagecoach Advisor Board meeting and attended the Planning Commission meeting in person.
Commissioner Casanelli.
Thank you, Chair. Met with the Board of Directors of the Dayton Area Chamber of Commerce. Met with a representative of the Do More for Dayton group regarding a proposal for potential use of the Bluestone building when the county vacates that. Attended the Mound House Advisory Board, the Dayton Advisory Board, the Planning Commission meeting via Zoom. Yesterday we had our Campo board meeting and we approved and adopted the regional transportation plan for 2026 through 2050. It's a lot there. There's several items, Lyon County projects, but it's important to keep in mind it's, a 25-year plan, but if anyone wants to see it, it is on Campo's site. It includes things in there for the Mound House, Highway 50 corridor, the East Dayton Bridge. There's quite a few Lyon County projects there. I just wanted to also express my condolences for the family of Robert Garcia, tragic accident. He was our Boys and Girls Club Youth of the Year last year, so it is a tremendous loss. I did communicate with Travis at the Boys and Girls Club, and they are postponing this month's Youth of the Year celebration to a later date to be determined. Some good news in our conversation was that the Dayton Boys and Girls Club Early Learning Center will be going vertical with the framing in the coming weeks. So we're looking forward to that. Also wanted to recognize one of our county employees, or longtime county employee, Scott Fleckenstein, is retiring. He's going to be missed in the Dayton area for sure. And I also want to thank Doug and crew. They've been doing a lot of work at the K Winters Park in Dayton. You can see here the wood chips and stuff, but they also took out that old tree that was kind of hanging into the street and looked like it might fall over at any time. So just wanted to say thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Commissioner Hockaday.
Yeah, my condolences to Robert Garcia's family. I certainly will attend the celebration of life on Saturday at the Boys and Girls Club. Attended the Walker River Irrigation District meeting here in Yerington, and immediately following that had a meeting with the manager and discussed things such as setbacks for irrigation ditches, and we also discussed the Libra water request, which has now been passed by the state engineer. Met out in Hoy Canyon Road for some significant flooding issues on the road and turning it into a quagmire. So I've already discussed that with the road department, and see what happens in the future. We had the Smith Valley Citizens Advisory Board meeting, probably the most well-attended board meeting that I've ever been to, almost standing room only. The new board members were there, and we took care of the elections, since we didn't have many members in the past, and now every position is full. I'm glad to see that. Attended the Smith Valley Historical Society, and followed by the Smith Valley Cemetery Association meeting, which I'm now the chairman of for that association. The Planning Commission meeting by Zoom, and also yesterday had a meeting with the Smith Valley group to go out and review some of the land issues for mining up in the north end of Smith Valley, and areas where they're going to be putting a 500-foot high stack of waste rock. That's going to be probably about 5 miles long. So pretty interesting information that we've followed through on that new mining effort. So that's about it.
Thank you. I attended the Silver Springs Advisory Board, and Planning Commission, and a NACO workshop on AB 211 that was passed during the 2025 legislative session. How the bill works, it's basically for landlords have to make sure that the apartments and rental properties are safe and livable. That means they must follow health, safety, and building rules. It's a law that makes these rules even stricter for apartment buildings that are in really bad shape. If a building is dangerous and breaks important safety rules, the county must tell the owner to fix problems. The notice has to follow certain rules. And basically make the owner tell the tenants about the problems, help tenants move out, make the owner pay for living costs, and make the owner pay back to the public. Money spent, fix those things, actually can go out to get a loan on the property. The county could, if we chose to do something like this, get a loan on the property, and the owner of that property would actually, the property would be would secure it, the county would not. And so the owner would be liable for it. So it's kind of a good tool. We don't necessarily use that type of thing right now in Lyon County, but I did intend to get more knowledge about it. That brings us to the county manager. We're going to Andrew or are we going to Sheila?
For you, County Manager Haskins, so if you have something to share, you can come on.
No report today, thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Okay, we're moving on to elected officials reports. Do we have any elected officials reports? Sheriff Pope.
Good morning, Lyon County Sheriff Brett Pope for the record. I know I'm going to give my annual update here shortly, but a few other issues I wanted to brief you guys on. I sent a letter to the Yerington Paiute tribe on December 1st about canceling our MOU due to the fact they have an officer employed that is not eligible to be a peace officer in the state of Nevada. I gave them 30 days to rectify that per the MOU. They did not. And I'm only briefing you. I think several of you received emails from the tribal chair, including the county manager, and I know Mr. Keller at least. Also, the post commissioner, Mike Sherlock, who runs Post for Nevada, sent an email to the tribe recently, and I just want to share a quote from that. It says, "We have interlocal agreements with the tribes to certify your officers as meeting Post standards. Should you decide to hire a person who is revoked out of state, it would put in jeopardy the Post certificates of all those employed with that agency, where that agency does not meet Post standards. If it is determined that the entity is in violation, we would be forced to move all of those employed as a peace officer into inactive status." So I just want to share that with you. This isn't me being a tyrant as the chief law enforcement officer, but I do believe that it is important to hold other agencies that we have agreements with to the same standards as peace officers in the state of Nevada. One, to avoid liability of the sheriff's office, and two, to avoid liability of the county. So our agreement is done. Director Sherlock has given them to today to respond and terminate that officer, or they put in jeopardy all the post certificates of their employees, their sworn employees at the Yerington Paiute tribe. Some allegations were made that we're stepping on their sovereignty, etc. And I just want to be clear: if the Yerington Paiute tribe can run their police agency any way they like, whether we partner with them or not, is ultimately up to me and ultimately up to this board. So I just want to give you an update on that it's not just coming from me, it's also coming from the organization that sets our standards. So with that being said, I'll come back when it's time for my annual report, unless there's any questions regarding that matter.
Any questions? Thank you. Any other elected officials? Planning officials? Mr. Homestead.
Good morning.
Morning.
Homestead Facility Director. Just want a few things to go over besides the one thing I
passed out with some pictures that shows a lot more than I can tell you about. We did cut down that tree at Kate Winters Park. It was leaning pretty good. We had a complaint on it, so. We found out our saws almost aren't big enough, so now the guys want a bigger saw, so it's gonna cost me a saw. Dayton projects, moving along, they're doing a lot of excavation. They had to over excavate in an area where there was. A long time ago was some type of pond there. So they're having to dig down quite a ways to get some good fill in there. Me and Judge met with the park board last night in Dayton on the master plan proposal. So we left it with them to come back with ideas, take it to the public and see what they wish to do. And then once we get that all settled, we'll come back to you guys and for a final on that. So that's moving along. The Friendly project is a little behind schedule because of some ordering issues we had for the court benches and the jury seating. It's taken longer than we thought it would. So we're probably looking at that April to move into that facility instead of March. And my guys are over there right now trimming all those trees in the parking lot while all the leaves are off it, so we can get them trimmed up good around the lights and stuff. We finished up with the HVAC replacement at your senior center through that Department of Energy grant that we got for either $67,000 or $76,000. So we're waiting for the final billing on that so we can get that processed, and it's 100% grant, so it didn't cost us anything on that. And we're sorry to lose Scott Fleckenstein. We had his retirement party yesterday. He's been a great asset to the park department, and we wish him the best. That's all I have. Any questions?
Commissioner Jacobson.
Just a curiosity on that tree. I know a few years ago, NDOT was cleaning up some trees and I offered to go down there and cut up the wood and haul it off. Can we give that wood to residents that want it, or is that something we've got to haul off and dispose of?
We hold it out. We hold it to the county road yard, and I don't know what the liability, because the problem is if you have someone cut it up and get injured, then we're probably, gonna get sued because they got injured cutting, because we have the same problem in the open spaces down there by the river. There's all kinds of trees down there, and we'd love to have groups go in there and cut it all up, but what's our liability,
No, it
Yeah.
just seems like that'd be a win-win for the county and people to, I don't know.
Yeah, 'cause that tree was probably, I don't know, 5 feet around or so,
Yeah, big one.
so.
It drives me nuts.
Commissioner Casanelli.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks again. Appreciate all your hard work over there. One question on that master plan, on the Mark Twain Park. I get a lot of questions about if they can incorporate a splash pad in that master plan. And I know one of the big, problems with that is the perpetual maintenance of it later on. But is that
It's
something?
really not the maintenance, it's considered a swimming pool,
Yeah,
and so it has to be tested twice a day
right.
for chlorine, so kids don't get burnt from too much chlorine or too little chlorine.
Right.
And so until they develop their own pool district, I think over there, if that's what they end up doing, I don't think you'll see one in our parks,
Okay.
because we don't have the manpower to do that
Yeah.
right now. I mean, I'm down to 3 people for parks. still over there, so.
But it's not gonna have any space in the long
No,
term.
there was some open space in this proposal.
Yeah,
Because we're working with the developers too. They're giving us some more property because we want to put a road across the front of the park to have better access into the park and safer access all the way over to 6 Mile Canyon Road. So that'll take some of the traffic off of the road coming in now. Trying to think of the name of the road right now, can't think of it. But anyway, it'll take some of the traffic off of 50, maybe that'll go up that way.
and did they give a estimated time on when that plan might be presented to the public?
I gave them yesterday two options we came up with. I told them to look at it and get back. They were gonna take to the sports teams and stuff. And see if there's any things that they want to change on it. And then once we get the feedback from that, we'll get it to them for their approval and bring it to you guys to. Your final approval.
Sounds good.
So
Thanks.
it's been a long time, but we've had a lot of meetings with developers and. Andrew and Gavin and all of them have been working hard on it, so
Yeah. Appreciate it.
it's a slow process. I didn't think it'd take this long. I thought we'd get it done quicker, but that's how things go.
Any other questions? I would like to see make sure that the lighting gets in that plan.
Yes.
And can we raise some kind of a privacy fence where they're gonna cut off that road? Something to protect those properties from when we're having events and kind of sound barrier across there.
Well, there's gonna be a road between there and the park now.
There's gonna be on 6 Mile, right? But the one that the entry right now into the park.
Yeah.
That would kind of protect those properties.
There'll be a, is it 80 foot road easement? Between there and the starting of the park. They're moving that boundary up for the park.
Oh, so you're gonna come in on that side, not on the back side.
Yeah, and so the road will come from the east. Into it, and then also go over and hit the 6 Mile, so. The park will move back actually about 100 feet or more.
Thank you.
Okay, and then they're giving us property to the east and to the north.
Fantastic. Any other appointed officials? Seeing none in the room, none online. Move on to advisory board reports. None in the room and none online. Bring us to the consent agenda. Action will be taken on all items. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and may be acted upon by the Board of County Commissioners with one action and without an extensive hearing. Any member of the board or any citizen may request that an item be taken from the consent agenda, discussed, and acted upon separately during this meeting. Is there any items the board wants to pull? Seeing none, is there any that the public wants to pull? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board. Or is there any public comment? Seeing no public comment, bring it back to the board for a motion.
Move to approve the consent agenda items 11A through 11G.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Hockaday, second by Commissioner Casanelli. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Regular agenda 12, Sheriff for presentation only, the Lyon County Sheriff's Office 2025 Annual Report.
Morning again, Lyon County Sheriff Brad Pope for the record. Buckle up for about a 4-hour report. Just kidding. Go as quick as we can. Just get the report up on the screen. Before it gets up there, I'm not gonna go through every slide or every page. Might have a brief comment on each, but I think it's important to share the first line on page 3 that I'm extremely proud of the dedication, professionalism, and commitment demonstrated by the men and women of the Lyon County Sheriff's Office. Our sworn and non-sworn personnel alike work tirelessly to deliver a high level of service to the communities we are trusted to protect, and service that I believe is second to none. Skip that. Let's go to page 7. Staffing levels, 2025, the majority of the year, we continue to operate fully staffed. We're down one position right now, but that is going to be filled February 2nd with a deputy who left us to go to another agency and is coming back home to the Lyon County Sheriff's Office. So we will be operating fully staffed again here in about 2.5 weeks. Training hours, I think it's important is training. Travel and training is a large budget item of ours. In 2025, we had 16,242 hours of training. And I know in this upcoming budget, we're asking to increase our training and travel budget. Skip past the awards and recognition. Night in the Country is page 9. Obviously, a large event down here in the southern part of the county. We appreciate the confidence that the Boys and Girls Club has in us to ask us to be their law enforcement partners and continue to operate the law enforcement functions of this event. Field training is the next page. These are all of our deputies that there you go, that passed field training for the first time in a long time, operating full staffed. Every one of our patrol deputies is completely certified and field trained. So we're not waiting to send anyone to the academy. We've actually moved to sending jail deputies to the Category 1 academy. Because our patrol staff is full and fully trained. So getting the jail deputies trained Cat 1, so when they transition to the road, they already have their certification. Community events on the next page. You can see that the Lyon County Sheriff's Office participates in numerous community events throughout the year. It's been awesome. Go to page 14. This is our communications division, our dispatch center. You can see the area is broken down. Excuse me, by command area. Northern Command, that would include Fernley, almost 19,000 calls for service. Central Command would be Silver Springs Stagecoach, 8,000 calls for service. Western Command is Dayton and Mountain House, 15,000 calls for service. Our Southern Command encompasses Mason Valley and Smith Valley. I would point out in those Smith Valley calls for services, about 2/3 of those are traffic stops. So we have a very light call volume in Smith Valley. Next page. One of the biggest areas of improvement that I'm proud of, and proud of our deputies, our supervisors for working hard to reduce, is our emergency response times. You can see what they were in 2022 and see how they've reduced dramatically over the past 3 years. It's one of our #1 priorities to reduce those response times. We've had very few accidents with our deputies responding to calls for service. So they're doing it both quickly and professionally. Some of these areas, we've seen 300, 400% decrease in response times. One of the big things, the reasons why these have reduced is our dispatchers and watch commanders are triaging calls for service. Where in the past, that necessarily wasn't happening. I'll give you an example. We have a fight call that comes out. It's a priority 1. So we have a fight in progress. It's a priority 1 call. We'll treat it like a priority 1 call. However, it's not uncommon for somebody to report a fight 4 days later and decide they want to file charges. So it'll come in as fight priority 1. Our dispatchers are taught now, nobody's life is in jeopardy. The fight isn't actually occurring as past tense, reduce that priority. So obviously we're not going lights and sirens to a fight that happened 4 days ago. So triaging calls is a big step of that. Change of direction. It used to be common procedure in the sheriff's office when a call for service would come out that it was acceptable to enter that call that you were en route to that call. So show that you're en route on the computer, but not to actually go. We eliminated that. As soon as the call for service comes up, deputies are to click en route, and then they're to go en route, physically go en route to that call. So it has had a huge reduction in our response time. People seem to be a lot happier with them.
Can I ask you a question on one of your response times?
Yes, sir.
In Smith Valley, it goes up 15 minutes to 20 minutes. Is that because of added traffic down there and or road conditions or something?
That's because the few amount of calls we have. So the average is skewed. Like I pointed out, most of those calls are traffic stops. So we get a call for service. I think this particular stat, I think we have 3 priority 1 calls for service. And so if you're 5 minutes behind, 6 minutes behind the average priority, then your average is going to tick up. So there are very few calls for service in Smith Valley, the Wellington area. So any kind of anomaly shows in the average.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. Next slide. Traffic is our #1 complaint. I know you guys hear about traffic constantly. I would point out that as an agency, we've had about a 250% increase in traffic stops. But if you break it down by area, you look at Dayton, for instance, there's a 400% increase in traffic stops. Highway 50, as we all know, is what I would consider a dangerous highway. We made a pledge to the community to increase our traffic stops on that highway. However, I would say, looking at this data and looking at the fatal accidents that continue to happen, that it's not an enforcement issue, that it's an engineering issue. And I know we're working close with NDOT to get some of those solutions fixed. In my heart of hearts, I can say comfortably the sheriff's office is holding up their end of the bargain, and hopefully NDOT does too. And we can work well and maintain that partnership. We've done a much better job. If you look at the bottom one, it says traffic stops and no zone. We've done a much better job of mapping each individual patrol area. So that was a non-factor in 2025. Also, if you notice, each one of the areas are color coded by their high school. Being a former high school football coach, we thought that was important. Go to the next page. You see the data. That's each area. Those are the upticks from 2022. You're going to see crime data throughout this report when we get closer to the end. It's my philosophy that crime suppression, visibility all starts with traffic stops. Nearly every crime committed in Lyon County is in relation to a vehicle. So when somebody's stealing property, burglarizing an area, they have to get there somehow. And you're going to see those crime stats have gone down. And I believe it's in direct correlation with the amount of traffic stops and visibility that is in our communities. And it starts here. You see Mason Valley, it's had a huge percentage increase. Up over 2,000 stops between Mason and Smith Valley. As a matter of fact, I've had to have some calls from residents in Smith Valley. We hired a former trooper, and he's getting a little too aggressive out there. So you guys asked for the traffic enforcement, and he loves traffic enforcement, so he's doing a good job. Next page. So Sergeant Redmond, she runs our OTS program. Many of the traffic stops you see come specifically from this grant. The state of Nevada pays our deputies overtime to run traffic enforcement. It's a great partnership. We get the benefit of more visibility, more traffic stops, and zero cost to us with overtime. And you can see a lot of the breakdown of what they've had there. 1/3 of our DUI arrests come from this, which is substantial. Next page, please. This is our sheriff's traffic enforcement team. This runs separate from OTS, although they do collaborate on a few occasions. This is when we get the traffic complaints, specific streets in Lyon County, county roads, not necessarily highways, Ramsey Week, stuff like that. Our traffic enforcement team, put together by about 7 deputies, will go out and saturate an area, do stops, write citations, and try and correct the issue. Problem is we're not omnipresent and we can't be everywhere at once. So the complaints keep rolling in. Next page is more stats. Our detention facility. Lieutenant Vandiver, Commander Powell, our supervisors, and all our deputies have done an excellent job in our detention facility. Our bookings have increased substantially. Just the Lyon County Sheriff's Office alone, bookings have increased by 400, and total bookings has increased by about 360. We did lose BIA funding for tribal inmates, so we were receiving money directly from BIA. BIA took that away, so now we bill the tribes individually, and so a few tribes have decided to take their inmates elsewhere because we're pretty expensive. So it is what it is. Shows releases. Go to the next page. Look at 2025 on the jail incidents. Those are down about 100%. Lieutenant Vandiver's done a good job at occupying the inmates' time. Personally, I prefer, that we weren't so soft And give them things to occupy the time they're in jail should be a punishment. However, the court system, the buzzword liability again, has determined that they're due programs and things like that. And it does have an effect. We've had, 100% decrease in our jail incidents. At the same time, we've had a 33% increase in our average inmate population per day. Looking at the average inmate population per day has gone up from 2022 to 2025 about 98 inmates per day. That's pretty substantial. Considering bail reforms in effect and the average jail stay. We have a lot of people who do maybe 8 hours in jail before they're OR'd. So to me, that shows how much work our patrol deputies, court deputies, and jail deputies are putting in to keep their inmates in jail.
Can you go over that left-hand side? I'm looking at those numbers, they drop way down. I don't understand that.
You're talking about the incident reports?
The Lyon County Sheriff's Office Detention Facility Incident Reports. And one of the big things, I'm looking at the line at the health suicidal.
Yeah.
And it went from 372 to 17 in a year. It looks like it dropped really significantly.
I have from 35 to 68, we've actually had an increase. So this chart's backwards compared to.
So in 2025, it says health suicidal other 17. In 2025, 372 in 2024.
That chart did not transfer right from the annual report. The actual number is 68. I don't know why that transferred wrong.
Okay.
But it is
significant.
It is. With full-time medical health in the jail, more inmates are reporting that they're suicidal. Our mental health problems in the county are greatly increasing. Some of it is legitimate and others is used to gain, I would say, medical treatment in the jail to gain not favors, but maybe be put in a different cell. Inmates use it as a tool, so you have to take certain things like that with a grain of salt. But we do have a significant mental health problem across the nation. It's not even unique to Lyon County. I'm sure Dr. Holmes, if you would like to give a report on that one day, could probably give you the medical reasons and stuff behind it. I just know we see it on a daily basis. Or we'll get to our most team too, that's handling that.
Thank you. I was going to say, if any of you guys have questions, just step up and because I'm reading and listening. And
absolutely, thank you. Sheriff, just for curiosity, how do we ever have inmates that are long-term that get shipped to state facilities, Lovelock, Ely, whatever, wherever? I would hope we get to utilize some of those facilities too to get them out of our care, and they're in for life. We shouldn't be hosting those, should we?
So we do. So when a pre-sentence inmate that is a discipline problem, combative with staff, the prison in Carson City has had open arms and they're more than happy to take that inmate because they have a higher security facility and keep those inmates. We're still responsible for the transport to their court and et cetera, but they're just much better equipped to deal with those inmates. So we don't use it frequently, say once or twice a year, maybe. If we have a medical issue that is outside of our scope of our medical company, then we ask for an OR. For instance, we had a female inmate who was sentenced to 6 months in jail, but she's due to give birth to a baby in the next 2 weeks. So we worked with the district attorney's office and the Walker River Justice Court to have her serve her sentence at home. I don't feel it'd be appropriate for the taxpayers of Lyon County to pay for a childbirth and then ultimately care of the child in a detention facility. So if the DA, I'm not saying they want it, if the DA or the Justice Court we're not going to release her, I would have exercised my rights and had her released. Birth can be very expensive, and for the taxpayer on the dime for that would not be good. And it seems like the hospitals like to bill Lyon County more than Medicaid or other insurances. So it's medical bills are a big hassle. The $900,000 roughly that we pay to our medical organization that operates in our jail is well worth it. They do an excellent job. That answer your question, Commissioner? I'm sorry.
Pretty much. Thank you.
Skip to 24. We're halfway done. Inmate work crews are instituted. Get these guys out and about, trying to help the community where we can. Like we said, we don't like to do it on private property. Some of these guys are sentenced to jail on burglary charges, etc. And we're not going to give them their next target by sending them some sweet old lady's house to clean their weeds. So they do public property, cemeteries, etc. See the list there. Big help with the fairgrounds. They did help clean up the homeless camp at Fernley, and they worked really well. It's been a good experience. Next page. So our major crimes division. We'll go over every statistic here. But they are busy. They are nonstop. Cases are referred to them on a daily basis. Within 10 days of this year, they had 18 cases between child death, kidnappings, sex crimes, child abuse, missing persons, child pornography, property crimes, fraud crimes, elder abuse, stalking. No homicides this year. And they do a lot of support. So when patrol deputies call and ask for a detective to help them, these guys are right there to help them out.
Sorry. I noticed, it seems like in reading, failure to report as a sex offender has gone way up because you made that, where was that added?
That's coming up.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Our SIU, next page, division, made significant arrests throughout the year. Recovered over 6.34 pounds of methamphetamine. Then you can see the other drugs there, 15 grams of fentanyl, 76 grams of cocaine. Over $100,000 worth of stolen property. That number, the 6 pounds of methamphetamine is significant. I like to use this as an analogy. I worked narcotics for 11 years, ran the unit. When I first went into narcotics, methamphetamine was about $2,000 an ounce. You could get it for about $200 an ounce with the right connection now. So if you know anything about economics, supply and demand, I mean, that means the supply side is way up. So it's very easy to get, very abundant, and it is a plague on every community across the country. And again, not unique to Lyon County, but everywhere.
Do you see a slowdown on the fentanyl at all?
So fentanyl is not necessarily a slowdown, but it is so potent in small doses that I know 15.5 grams doesn't sound like a lot, but it's actually a substantial amount. The other thing we're seeing is fentanyl mixed in with the methamphetamine. We're seeing a lot of that. So that goes under the methamphetamine stat, not necessarily the fentanyl stat. It's very potent, very addictive, and very deadly. The problem we have is not necessarily a problem, but when somebody overdoses in their house, the way the law is written, we can't take action as a law enforcement agency. So it's a medical call. It's not a law enforcement call. So any evidence gained during that time can't be used in where to get these people help. So kind of frustrating, but we did prosecute a case this year, last year, where a subject overdosed on heroin, and we did go after the dealer and were able to obtain a guilty verdict, and we're able to prosecute the dealer for supplying the heroin for the overdose. So it's a direction that our investigations team wants to go, and we're trying to contact them on any suspicious drug death.
So is that federally mandated, or is it state that you can't? It's a medical call and you can't use it.
State. Go to the next page. Continuing our investigations division, Deputy Tafelmeyer is our coroner. One of the things when I took over was to assign a deputy to be a full-time coroner to free up our patrol guys from handling coroner calls, from start to finish. Our patrol guys will still go to the scene and take the initial call. If the coroner is not on duty. The real time consuming part of that is all the follow-up, speaking with doctors, family, next of kin, public administrator, counting the medications, disposing of the medications, et cetera. All that is forwarded to one location. One point of contact for the medical examiner's office is the coroner. For the funeral homes is the coroner, and it has expedited the process substantially and freed up time for our deputies. K9 unit is next. Point out that in the bottom middle, Deputy Sukup and K9 Kai are no longer with us. They didn't pass away, they just went to Douglas. And he's doing well over there. We ended up retiring K9 Kai. Awesome unit. K9 Vicky, bottom right corner, is in our schools. He's trained on every controlled substance and firearms. She does a great job. All of our canines are very social. Kai wasn't too social, but he's gone. But our canines are very social. Kids pet them, play with them, have a good time. We are getting a new canine. We're sending Detective Walker to canine school here shortly. He's already picked out his dog. Probably going to change the name right now. The dog's name is Yellow, but probably going to change that name if the dog's receptive to it. So. Next page is the canine stats. I had to do a double check. They didn't get 2,879 pounds. That's a period, not a comma. So they got almost 3 pounds of methamphetamine off the street. Cocaine, fentanyl, heroin, psilocybin. Do an awesome job. Canine Blady was the dog of the year in the Carson City trials again. His handler, Sergeant Galvin. Canine Blady do an excellent job. Blady is probably the most personable dog we have. Quick story, when I coached football, Blady got out from Sergeant Galvin's house, and we found him in the assembly with the football players hanging out. So he's not a vicious dog by any means, but when he has to bite, he will bite. They'll do a good job. SWAT team. So our next stats, we didn't really have many call outs last year, and I think that is mostly due to our aggressive tactics with our patrol deputies. When I first took over, we were getting a lot of call outs, and I think the criminal element decided that they're going to comply with our patrol guys, and our patrol guys are a lot more aggressive, and it hasn't gone to the level of SWAT. So I think when I took over the first 3 months, we drove that vehicle through 2 houses, and nobody's wanted to play with it ever since. It's a good video. School resource officer program. This year we took over Yerington High School, so we have every high school and every school system in the county. Calls for service never stop. Our SROs have been much more aggressive where they need to be. They're still respected. The kids still like them. The relationship what they have with the students is awesome. Seen it personally. Our SROs interacting with the kids. But when it's time to be held accountable, our SROs are doing an excellent job.
I think you're doing a great job. I would like in the future somewhere along the line, because as you were out of the schools for a while, right? And I think you were, but are you getting a culture now to where they respect and are we getting an increase from people coming in for these calls, or is it, in other words, are the kids starting to get it more balanced as far as the communications with law enforcement?
So when I talk to the teachers, they say the kids are much more respectful. That the amount of incidents are way down. Our stats would suggest otherwise. However, they're not as blown out of proportion as they were. They're not as violent or as aggressive. For instance, we didn't have the Yerington schools, but we had the Fernley schools. Yerington transferred a person to a Fernley school. This girl was a behavioral problem at the Yerington high schools. Her first day at the Fernley school, she punched, I think, the principal or vice principal. She punched somebody, and she was immediately arrested very physically by our SROs and something that she had never experienced. And I think she's on the right track now. So our guys are just much more aggressive. We weren't out of the schools. We just expanded the program.
I got you.
I took over, we had 3 SROs. Silver Springs and Smith Valley were 1 SRO. Which logistically didn't make sense. It's one of the reasons why we asked for the Yerington school. Dayton had 1 SRO and Fernley had 1 SRO. We now have 2 SROs in Fernley just because of the call volume and the amount of work that needs to be done. And that's gone a long way. My goal in the future is to expand that to 2 officers in each school. However, that might be a 10-year project given the budget and the way we're moving. But the school district does pay for about 2/3 of the program. The sheriff's office budget's on the hook for the other third. And so that partnership has been huge. And we do appreciate that. And working with Mr. Logan at the school district has been awesome. He's been a great law enforcement partner. Somebody who I can reach out to and have a conversation with and is open to anything we offer. So we do appreciate that partnership as well. Sex offender task force is next. Answer your question, yes. 32 investigations for non-compliance or violations. Registration conditions is an increase of 158% from 2024. So when I got the stats in 2024, started digging into it deeper with Commander Jeff Miller in Silver Springs, who oversees the unit. And our thought process is these guys are 1 second late, they go to jail. Why are we giving them breaks? So that's why we see that 158% increase. Arrest them, their victims don't get any reprieve. They don't get a 1 second reprieve. The person who died in our custody was a sex offender, was arrested under this. He was 45 years late. So we go from 1 second to 45 years now late, they get arrested. That's still under investigation from the Carson City Sheriff's Office, but all the preliminary investigation shows that we had no wrongdoing and our deputy acted in accordance with the law. It was actually very professional, and life-saving efforts were started immediately, and nothing we could have done, but we're still waiting on the final autopsy results from the medical examiner's office. We're expecting a cardiac event, but we'll see. And when I have that report, I'll share it with you guys. So yes, that's why you see a large increase. Is 1 second late is too late, and they're arrested. And we have not had to make one of those arrests in several months. They've gotten the hint, and they're right on time or early to register from here on out. So. Go to the most team, 34. It's a great partnership with our human services. It's a necessary function of the sheriff's office. Deputy Shannon does a good job with it. Our licensed clinician does an excellent job. Shannon's group does an excellent job. We're proud of that partnership. With 635 calls for service for our most team. That's a lot of calls. I mean, for one guy and a clinician to handle. So calls come in, trying to avoid the law enforcement interaction as much as we can. It's not illegal to have a mental health crisis, but for safety reasons and for other reasons, in case the law does get broken, we do have a deputy there to protect our clinician, and they do a good job. Grant funding is next. Put a big emphasis on grant funding with no county match. Getting a lot of equipment and a lot of awards this way. Be presenting another grant to the board in a few weeks for a lot of traffic safety stuff, LiDAR units, mobile trailers that track speed and time. We did receive another one. We're waiting on the funding so we could purchase our equipment. But it's the money slowed up for a while, but the government funding seems to be coming back, and we're trying to take advantage of that where we can. Our records division processes everything that the sheriff's office does. Every piece of paper goes through our records division. CCW is 1,272 last year. Brothel work cards 270, 1 business license, 22 liquor license, They did 960 sex offender registrations. And ex-felon registrations are 77. Processed over 2,000 civils. There were 600 warrant entries. Public records requests are very time consuming, and 105 of those. You know, a lot of the information we can't give out. We want to be as transparent as possible. We get a lot of requests for body cam footage from inside our residences. And privacy laws, we just can't give that out. Anything that's open to the public, we can give out. But there's a lot of heartburn over information that can't be released. It's referred to the district attorney's office, and district attorney's office back to us every time. We received 26,000 phone calls. It's a lot. Phone never stops ringing. Next page is our drone unit, or the unmanned aerial vehicle unit. It's the future of law enforcement. It's going to a lot of drones. Sergeant McDaniel's on top of it. We use our drone team for a lot. They're spread throughout the county. Evidence tracking, man tracking, missing persons. We use it any opportunity we can. We use the drones. Search and rescue. We volunteer unit for 13 hours. Training and call out. That's equivalent to 6 full-time deputies. They had 70 calls for service, and there's a breakdown of the calls that they had. They do an excellent job. We have volunteers, and we'll get to our other volunteer unit here coming up, but we have volunteers working for you for free. Try and take care of them as much as possible. These guys really don't like to be recognized or in the limelight. They're kind of hidden. If you get caught in a picture, you owe the entire team ice cream, apparently. So they're not looking for any recognition, but they do an awesome job, and we do appreciate them. VIPs. These guys are rock stars. They do a great job for the sheriff's office. Even though they're down 9 VIPs from where they were in 2024, their level of work and the amount of hours they put into the sheriff's office actually went up in certain categories, down as a whole, but only 300 hours now. They do a great job for us. Last time we used them, for instance, was on that plane crash in Silver Springs. They'll come sit on the plane crash overnight, so we don't have to use deputies to do it. They'll make sure the scene's secure. They did security at Dayton Valley Days. They volunteer at Dayton Valley Days. They volunteer at almost every community event across the county, and just do an awesome job for us. They do all our VIN checks, house watches. They're running our relay for us. The interdepartment mail system that we have is insane. The amount of paperwork that travels from north to south. If we paid for postage on it, would probably bankrupt the county. So they do a good job, and unfortunately, most of that still has to be paper. It can't be digital, by law and things like that. But they do a great job running that for us, and we're proud of the work they do. And we're gonna just get into crime stats. Kind of kept these out of the last 4 years, 3 years, and probably 4 years too. But I think 4 years is a good block to kind of see where the mission was at. In which direction the mission was going that we set in 2023 in the sheriff's office. If you look at the graph, our arrests, the 9 on this graph went down below that. It was 1,629, up almost 400 from 2022. We had a dip in 2024. Can't explain that anomaly, but we did. And we went right back up. So
Is that the correct number?
yes.
1,300. I'm just looking at the graph. Okay.
Yeah, 1353.
So the other ones just needed an extra digit. I got you.
For some reason on this presentation, we're below it. So it's 1401 and 1629.
Gotcha.
Which PowerPoint does weird things. Yeah. Next page. Start driving under the influence arrests. Went up substantially. Up to 184. Our drug arrests went up substantially. That's a year-over-year increase in drug arrests as our SIU team gets more trained, more experience, and canines get more training, more experience, and actually our patrol guys get more training and experience. They're doing really well with that. Now, the drug arrest means that's the only charge is specifically a drug arrest. But drugs are involved in, I would say, 80 to 90% of all of our arrests. But this is people who have like possession of controlled substance for sales, possession of controlled substance, and that's their only charge or stated as a drug arrest. Whereas if you're driving under the influence of a controlled substance, it could probably be stated as a drug arrest, but those aren't stated. You're stated under driving under the influence. Page. These are our two crimes that we attach to either the overwhelming presence of law enforcement or the lack of presence of law enforcement. Both burglary and larceny have seen substantial declines over the last 4 years. I believe it's due to the amount of traffic stops and visibility in our communities. It's kind of kept those out. I worked the streets in 2022 as a patrol sergeant, and I can tell you, even as a patrol sergeant, I was responding and taking 3 or 4 larceny calls a day in the Dayton area. It was pretty bad. You see it, we've gone down to less than 1 a day. Down to 255, a 100% decrease in larceny calls alone. Burglary doesn't necessarily mean a theft. Burglary is entering a building to commit any other crime. So that doesn't mean that not all those burglaries are thefts. Most of them are, but not all of them. So next page. Domestic battery arrests. Substantial increase. This is due to training, I believe. Domestic battery arrests are mandatory by the state of Nevada. We've focused our training on what actually constitutes domestic battery and what doesn't, and that arrests are mandatory, and you've seen the substantial increase. The calls for service for domestic battery haven't necessarily gone up, but our arrests have. Child abuse and endangerment. Had a conversation with Joe Hart yesterday. You might see it on the news. Talking about this specific category. He reported a child abuse case in Silver Springs and made an arrest. And he asked for those statistics and showed that they've gone up year over year. It's not due to that report, it's just due to the aggressive nature of our deputies. The philosophy is when in doubt, make an arrest. The community never gets mad at us for making arrests. They seem to get mad at us when we don't. So if there's any doubt, make an arrest, and they've been running with that. Next page. Our destruction of property is seeing a little increase. It's kind of a U-shaped graph. See that there. The issue with that is, for instance, we had one call in Dayton that turned out to be 45 victims on one call. So you get juveniles drive down the street, break mirrors off cars, etc. We catch them, but now we have 45 victims. So we want to report as accurate numbers as possible. And then you get a graph like this, and so, man, we're getting an uptick, but one call for service generated 45 victims. And it could be a little bit misleading, but something that we're looking at, and it's something we're going to put more emphasis on and try and lower that number. Robberies went from 16 to 8, down to 3 in 2023. That was anomalous. It seemed like in 2022 we were getting armed robberies a lot, and having robbery victims all over the place. It went a little wild. We had an armed robbery at Silver Strike and Silver Springs. We had a few other armed robberies throughout the county. Had an armed robbery that I worked in 2022, and guy ended up getting in a pursuit with him. He drove through a house, and so it was a little bit of the Wild West, and those numbers seem to be coming down. But there's also an uptick too that we're focusing on. Identity theft in 2023, we got real aggressive with our training at the senior centers and churches, talking about the identity theft crimes. We had a significant decrease, and we've had an uptick. The problem with those numbers is as technology is getting better, our criminals are getting smarter. AI is helping a lot. Voice mimicking people's voices, and they're pretty sophisticated in their scams. I think 26 cases of identity theft in the county, 68,000 is pretty significant. That's a pretty low number. Again, one of those statistics that might seem a little misleading, but I think that's a manageable number, and we continue to do our senior scam preventions, our trainings and our talks at senior centers, et cetera. I think it's helpful. Murders on their next identity theft ended up in the same report. The reason why I put that in the report is people always want to know the homicide rate. The 2 murders we did have in 2025 were both murder suicides. One occurred in Dayton, one occurred in Silver Springs. Other than that, both very tragic, but we haven't had any other types of murders in the county in 2025. Hopefully 0 in 2026. We have an attempted murder already, but not a murder. With that being said, I'll take any questions on the annual report.
Do we have any questions?
Just a comment.
Commissioner Rockaday.
Yeah, thank you for the update on everything for the last year. A couple of comments. I know that Commander Powell gave a quick briefing at the advisory board meeting in Smith Valley. He mentioned that the increase in the traffic control, and we appreciate that out there. Of course, the comment basically was we appreciate it till the red light's in our rearview mirror. I go, I think I was speeding. But there might be complaints out there, people that have lived out there for a long time and get upset because they're doing 40 and a 25, but the majority of the people appreciate you being out there. The other thing about Smith Valley, as Commander Powell said, is that when we do have a response, it's usually active shooter or, carjacking or homicide suspect driving through at a high rate of speed. So we've got some pretty interesting responses out in that area. Last comment would be about jail. And yes, we're not there to make them happy, but we don't want them to be unhappy, because when they're sitting around contemplating how to be miserable to everybody, then they cause problems. So what I've found is over the last couple of years that Lieutenant Vandiver and Commander Powell have made sure that we've at least made it a situation where they're not angry. They can order food out. They can have a few activities and sports activities, a little exercise. So you keep them occupied, and the majority of them might be neutral, but they'll keep the angry ones controlled also. They say, hey, don't ruin a good thing here. They're treating us like human beings. We're not there to punish them in jail. We're there to just retain them.
Great.
And so I think you've done an outstanding job there, and the statistics show on that. The other thing with suicide and health, with the recon, health issues are down, and when they are faking it, the nurse can tell. So I'm very appreciative of that, and I know a lot of the other counties are looking at Lyon County as an example. Yes, it's expensive, but we're taking care of what we need to as far as their health needs, and that's kind of important to keep the violence down in the jail. So you guys are doing a great job.
And to that note, when we do have an incident or death, the liability has been reduced or even taken off of us because of our medical group. So that is a good point. Thank you for pointing that out.
Any other comments?
Just kind of the great report, very comprehensive, and statistics speak for themselves. So just great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Yeah, I want to thank you for your presence in the community. At every public event, there's sheriff deputies and staff, and a lot of times the canine dogs. You always send people out to the advisory board meetings, and I think that relationship between law enforcement and the community has really improved, and I think it's a huge contributing factor.
Thank you.
Mr. Jacobson.
Thank you, Chair. Just a few things. So events like Night in the Country, is that also, do you use that as a training event as well, for training hours? I would think that would be a perfect opportunity to work in training on some of those types of events and count that as training hours. Not that you're looking to pad stats, but it would seem like the real thing is a great time to do some of that training.
So not necessarily at the event, but where we get the training hours is working with Taylor Allison Emergency Management is the planning and coordination of the event. We try and include junior sergeants and some lieutenants in that, so when they move up, they have that planning a major event coordination training and just that experience of doing that. But when we're at the event, no, it's all hands on deck and really there's no time to train. So we do get the training in the planning and the incident command side of that, and Taylor's team has been great helping us out with that. That's where we get the training opportunity for. Because you could translate this large scale operation. If you can run a large scale operation like this, you could scale down to a small incident commander operation and do really well. So that's why we use that. That's the training aspect we use of that.
Right. I guess I was just thinking that, all right, so there's two officers working this. One is a seasoned person and officer, and the other one maybe isn't. And then just in discussions on, all right, how did that go? This happened. We should have done, or we did this, and this is why. I would think that.
Well, that mentorship takes place. I guess maybe I'm looking at it wrong term of training. That mentorship takes place between our sergeants and our deputies, and between our commanders and our sergeants and lieutenants. So I guess if you just flip the word mentorship to training, then yes, it absolutely is taking place at events.
Yeah, because I think from what I've seen, your officers do a great job of communicating together. Just want to point out, I believe one of the local news I watched the other night, they highlighted some of your successes and so that's I don't know how they caught wind of your report, but
we sent it to them.
Yeah, as well you should. So that was good to see on the local news as well. And then you answered my one on the inmates getting shipped off to larger facilities and so. Other than that, just thank you. And again, you've got your crew's working hard there, as Commissioner Hendricks pointed out, at all the events and always at city council meetings, giving reports and just really keeping the public in the know. So I just want to thank you and all your officers.
And I'll just reply to that. Our senior deputies that have been here for quite a long time said that they've never been treated as well in the community as they are now, and in that point. So to me, that Commissioner Hendricks pointed out, our relationship is improving daily, and especially our senior guys are firmly say they go into a store and people are telling them thank you and they appreciate it. That's never happened, so they're excited to.
Well, thank you. That's a great report. I agree with my fellow commissioners about presence in the communities, and that component of the schools is really important. I mean, I think it changes the culture of how our kids grow up and respect. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And with that being closed, we're going to go ahead and take a 5-minute break. It's 10:38. Okay, we're back in session. Brings us to number 13, public hearing on planning issues items. Excuse me. For possible action to approve the request from Lyon County Community Development for the abandonment of a portion of a public access easement previously designated as Town Center Drive for land map number 410-284, consisting of approximately 2,752 square feet located on the property commonly known as 103 Crossing Avenue, APN 016-406-19, PLZ 2025-112. Community Development Director Gavin Henderson.
Thank you, Chair. Community Development Director Gavin Harrison for the record. So the item before the commission today is a staff initiated request for the abandonment of a public access easement located within the Lyon County government complex parcel. This is a picture of a site location. So the subject property is identified as APN 016-40519 and is located at 1033 Crossings Avenue. The site lies north of US Highway 50, accessed via Traditions Parkway. It is located at 103 Crossings Avenue. The site lies north of US Highway 50, accessed via Traditions Parkway. It is located at 103 Crossings Avenue. The site lies north of US Highway 50, accessed via Traditions Parkway. and currently serves as the location of the Lyon County Government Complex. The image shown is sourced from our Lyon County GIS system, and the applicable easement area, which we were talking about today, is highlighted in black, so you can kind of see that smaller rectangle portion within the parcel. So this slide presents a zoomed out view of the land division map number 410284 shown on the left side of the slide. The area outlined in the red outlines the public access easement. That is the subject of the abandonment request in front of the board today. A prior request we did here, Senior Planner Lisa Nash presented on the January 5th meeting to abandon Lakeside Boulevard, Town Center Drive, and Traditions Parkway. That was presented at the January 5th meeting. That's shown on the right side of the screen, and those highlighted portions show that abandonment. So basically, what was previously abandoned is everything shown in yellow. Today's request is the abandonment of the portion that's kind of remaining on the Lyon County government parcel. Moving forward, I did want to note that the request is obviously we don't need a public access easement within the location of the building footprint and within the front parking area. So that's kind of the basis of the request today. So this is just kind of cleaning up the parcel for that project. So this is a zoomed in portion of that recorded map. So this the area highlighted in yellow depicts the public access easement, including its total square footage and dimensional requirements. The easement is labeled PAE, and that just stands for public access easement. This is the exhibit that's provided in the backup as part of the abandonment. We can see in the kind of the hatched areas of this exhibit A1. So that's just designating the portion of the public access easement that's to be abandoned. I did want to note, so this slide includes an excerpt from the draft. It's in review of the Traditions final commercial subdivision map for reference. It is provided to illustrate that upon approval of the access easement abandonment today, that future access locations for the Lyon County government complex will be formally recorded and finalized with that commercial subdivision map. I did put some stars on the exhibit, so that's just designating those access locations. There is one further to the kind of the northeast upper right hand corner that kind of missed the screenshot, but there'd be 4 access locations, but 3 that would potentially be shown in this kind of excerpt. And with that, I'm here to answer your questions.
Is there any questions or comments from the board? Commissioner Casanelli.
I got one quick clarification. It's on exhibit A1. It shows public utility easement versus public access easement. There's no existing utilities running through that easement.
No, sir.
Okay. Thanks.
Any public comment? Seeing none in the room or online, bring it back to the board for a motion.
Motion to approve the request from Lyon County Community Development for the abandonment of portion the public access easement previously designated as Town Center Drive per land map number 410284, consisting of approximately 2,752 square feet, located on the property commonly known as 103 Crossing Avenue, APN 016-40619, PLZ 2025-112.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Jacobson, second by Commissioner Casanelli. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Brings us to number 14A for possible action, approve the third amendment to the voting system agreement by and between Dominion Voting Systems Incorporated, now known as Liberty Vote, and Lyon County. Clerk Treasurer Stacy Lambert.
Good morning. Clerk Treasurer Stacy Lambert. Just bringing in the third amendment. This is the update with the new equipment. The original contract I put in the attachments for you guys to look at, so you know the full story of how we got here. So I'm basically here to ask any questions. This was from our original one. It was expiring the end of December, and the only concern I had on this one was that it went out to 2033 or something, but it's a 30-day termination contract upon notice. So Steve and I went through it, and we need to follow up and just renew our contract.
Is there any questions or comments from the board? Is there any public comment? Seeing none in the room, none online, bring it back to the board for a motion.
Motion to approve the third amendment to the voting system agreement by and between Dominion Voting System Incorporated, now known as Liberty Vote, and Lyon County.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Hockaday, seconded by Commissioner Casanelli. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you, Stacy. Brings us to 15A for possible action. Award the bid and approve the contract to Class Act Maintenance for the landscaping and maintenance of the Yankton area for calendar 2026 and 2027 in the amount of $32,724 per year. Facilities Director Doug Homestead.
Yeah, this year we went out to bid for a 2-year bid, make it a little easier. We're always struggling to hurry up and get it done. And we did it for the janitorial for Fernley, and then I also did this one for the landscaping for Yerington and Smith Valley. The janitorial, we got all kinds of response. This one we got no response. I had one phone call from a landscape company in Reno, and once I explained where it was at and all that, they said, "Oh, we're not interested." So this is the person that bid on it before. They've done a good job. I asked him about the increase, and he said it's because the chemical prices, fertilizer and the herbicide and all that is gone up quite a bit. And so I thought it was in reason from what it was years past.
Any questions or comments? Commissioner Jacobson.
So just in, first of all, thanks for, and I'm sure it's a barrel of monkeys going out to bid and getting some of these people. And then when you get none, you got to figure out plan B. Would it help your, number of people bidding on this if we ordered as a county the fertilizer and the chemicals and they grab them from us?
I don't think so.
But
Yeah.
all right, I just was thinking about
The central line where we take care of the parks, judges told me their chemical prices really gone up.
Yeah.
On their chemicals that they get.
That's all. Thanks.
Yeah, because the problem is one contractor want to use this brand, and this contractor wants to use that brand, and or they have a deal from someone they buy from, and not from the one if we. Yeah. So.
Commissioner Hockaday.
Thank you, Chairman Keller. It'd be really nice, put it mildly, if they could coordinate with the park board, address the park board with the Smith Valley Park Board about some of the situations we had last year with lack of herbicide on some weed areas and along the fence and underneath the bleachers. And so, a little coordination would go a long way in order to get the park, since we're paying this much money to take care of it. It'd be nice to have them take a little bit of direction from the board.
Okay.
Commissioner Casanelli.
Yeah, just more of a comment. I mean, it's being one that's also kind of in this business, I can speak that yes, herbicides have increased. One of the other things may or may not be a factor here, but I know that the state of Nevada Department of Ag classified weeds as pests and therefore requires on a commercial facility anyone applying herbicides to have a pesticide license, which has caused our costs to go sky high. So anybody that's in the business of spraying the weeds, their costs have gone up. So
I did. I looked at this and I looked at it where you sent it out for bids and stuff. And I guess maybe this is more for my fellow commissioner, that is there another place that landscapers get their information to bid on these type of projects?
the
county.
Yeah, I mean, the public posting they do, I think is really it's up to the contractors to monitor those, and a lot of the contractors are busy, and just given, you know, Smith Valley and the location, I think
It's
it's
very,
not attractive.
very
for-
remote, yeah.
Yeah,
We went to the, Stacy did the paper for us. Stacy Lindbergh, and for 2 weeks. And then, it was on the county website too. And that's where I got most of the hits for the landscape, I mean, for the janitorial was on our county website. They probably have some AI thing that searches for that word, you know, and we had quite a few responses on that.
yeah, I think that's just the windshield time for most companies to go out there. It's not cost effective, so I mean, when you got a guy, you know, hang on to him. That's, yeah.
Yeah, I'll go to the public. Is there any comments? Public comment? Seeing none in the room, none online, bring it back to the board for a motion.
Move to award the bid and approve the contract to Class Act Maintenance for the landscaping maintenance for the Arlington area for calendar year 2026 and 2027 in the amount of $32,724 per year.
Second. Second. Motion by Commissioner Hendrick, second by Commissioner Hockaday. Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Proposal 15B for possible action, award the bid and approve the contract to Class Act Maintenance for the landscaping and maintenance for Smith Valley for calendar years 2026 and 2027 for $25,461 per year. Mr. Olmsted.
It's the same thing. We put out the same bid. We had 2 listings, one for Yerington, one for Smith Valley, and this was the only response we got.
Any comment from the board? Any public comment? Seeing none in the room, none online, bring it back to the board for a motion.
I'll move to award the bid and approve the contract to Class Act Maintenance for the landscaping maintenance for Smith Valley for calendar years 2026 and 2027 for $25,461 per year.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Hockaday, second by Commissioner Casanelli. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. 16A for discussion only, staff's update on various traffic safety concerns, street signs, and possible recommendations to the Nevada Department of Transportation for issues in different areas of Lyon County.
Good morning, Dustin Homan, Lyon County Road Director for the record. So at the December 4th board meeting, there were some issues or concerns brought to the meeting. Some by Commissioner Hockaday and a few from Commissioner Casanelli. Looked into these, and I just thought we'd give an update on what we came up with. So we'll start with Commissioner Hockaday's. He and I did go out and drive and look at most of these areas beforehand. The first one, speed limits on Artist View, reduce speed limit from 45 to 35. That will pretty much be relatively cheap. It's 2 signs, one on either end, and then we would put a couple more speed limit signs up throughout to capture the traffic that's coming onto Artist View from the side streets. The next one is add an additional speed limit sign on the dirt portion of Jessen Lane. So there's one if you're going eastbound, but if you come basically out of the BLM land onto Jessen Road, there is not one at that east end if you're westbound. So we can put another speed limit sign up on that one. The other couple were on NDOT roads. One is request NDOT to add a school zone ahead sign at the beginning of the right-hand turn from State Route 208 onto Day Lane. So I will have conversations with the local NDOT guys Actually, let me read the other two requests for their, request to NDOT. Install a left-hand turn lane when eastbound on NV 208 Upper Colony Road and Lower Colony Roads. And add shoulder material on 95A to level the pavement with shoulder area wherever necessary in Mason Valley. So I will have conversations with the local supervisors for the Wellington area and the Mason Valley area on these. I feel that this really needs to be brought up when we have our yearly meeting with NDOT on issues or concerns that Lyon County has with NDOT. Because a lot of these are going to be out of the local guys' control. I just don't want them to be blindsided by it when this does come to the county and NDOT meeting, our yearly meeting that we do. So I will have conversations with the local NDOT supervisors for both areas, and then we will bring these concerns up when we do our yearly meeting with NDOT. On Commissioner Casanelli's, adding a couple more speed limit signs on Pike Street through the old downtown area. This would be pretty easy. I know Pike Street captures a lot of the cut around traffic, people trying to get around the stoplight there at Dayton Valley Road and Highway 50. So that there won't be a bad thing to add a few more speed limit signs in there, and then it will also capture that traffic that's coming off of the side streets onto Pike Street, because they're just signed basically at both ends currently. The other one's parallel parking only signs along the fence between Main Street and the Odin. We could do that those vehicles that pull in are sticking out into the edge of the roadway because they're not parallel parking. They're just nosing up to the fence. My only issue with that is, and we're still trying to figure this out, is if we put those signs up and they don't abide by them, are they enforceable? And I mean, so that at that point that becomes out of the road department's control, and then the sheriff's office is going to have to deal with that. But if they're not enforceable signs, there's not a lot that the sheriff's office can even do if people don't abide by those. So that's kind of where we're at with that. We're still looking into that one. I'll get back to you on all of these once they've been completed, or what we came up with on the Odin and Main Street. And then with that, I would be happy to answer any questions.
Commissioner Hockaday. Okay, yes, I appreciate you bringing up the issues that we can readily resolve. I know that we've had a citizen here from Mason Valley that's been interested in speed bumps. Just let that individual, Mr. DeChambeau there, know that it has been an ongoing discussion between you and myself and the county manager, and looking for issues that would resolve that. But personally, the last place I lived, we did have a speed bump in front of my house. Probably made things worse. People were hitting that bump at 40 miles an hour, and then they were doing 100 miles an hour as soon as they got over it, throwing gravel everywhere. And so it is something that we've got to concern ourselves. I know we've lowered the speed limit there, but it's just an issue that some of these places, it's tough to control the speed of these clowns. I'll make it nice, that you don't want to abide by anything. I know that Senator Titus has talked to me about 208 in front of her house. People doing 67 miles an hour past the CG bar in her front. That's a paved road with NDOT. They're not going to put a speed bump in. So it is a significant issue that we're always looking at with people that are speeding. And I don't even know if giving them tickets anymore, civil infraction. It's like, so what? So it is an issue that you and I have talked about, you and I have driven out there. County manager and I have gone out to Osborne Lane and looked and tried to decide what issues can be resolved. So it's an ongoing thing. There are other areas, but I appreciate you getting an update on the more or less easier issues that we're looking at here. So thank you for the update.
And if I can add, and I know that Mr. DeChambeau's here at one of the meetings. Warning speed bumps. Probably 75% of the phone calls that I field. And some of the conversations are from people in Mr. DeChambeau's shoes. A lot of them come from the Dayton area, Dayton, Mark Twain, the subdivisions. People speeding through the subdivisions. And that comes down, a lot of that comes down to the bulk of that traffic in those subdivisions as somebody that lives in that subdivision. So it's neighbors speeding by neighbors' houses.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I'm sure the city of Fernley is dealing with the same issue. Speeding everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most of you guys know you drive from Silver Springs to Yarrington. You drive from Smith Valley, you drive from Fernley. You probably see speeding every day when you come down here on 95. I mean, it's not just a problem on a few of our county roads. I mean, it's statewide, well, probably countrywide, but.
Well, Wellington Cutoff goes right by Juanita Lane, and that's a main thoroughfare, really. The trucks go 60, 70 miles an hour. I know that Sheriff Pope actually went out there and gave 11 tickets.
Yeah.
Just sitting there basically out in front of my place. But it's going to be a death trap there, especially when 395 gets shut down. So, I didn't bring that up, but it's already posted and they're doing, I'm not kidding, it's a 60, 70 miles an hour. And when you've got a semi going that fast, you better be making left and right hand turns very quickly.
And Mr. DeChambeau is correct. I mean, the sheriff can't patrol every one of the county roads and the state roads where people are speeding. I mean, he doesn't have the staff, doesn't have the time to deal with all that. I mean, he just went through a presentation, and I mean, there's a whole bigger picture than just stopping speeders out on the road. So, and then I just had an issue brought to me today. I believe it's in Tammy's district out in Silver Springs at an intersection out there. And so we are looking into that as well. And we'll get back to you on that issue.
Commissioner Jacobson. Well, I appreciate your time. Just curiosity, and this isn't meant to be necessarily funny. It isn't meant to be not serious. It's just, if speed bumps worked, how many speed bumps do you think we'd put in, minus worrying about snow plows throughout Lyon County? Because I mean, I live on a 25-mile-an-hour street, and there's nobody goes 25 miles on that. I mean, I could say the same thing as anyone on speed bumps, and obviously that's in the city of Fernley, so I don't bring it up here. But how many speed bumps do you think it would take in Lyon County?
A lot. My road department crew would become a speed department crew because they'd either be installing or repairing them.
Right.
That's what it would boil down to.
There's one count the stars in the sky.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I hope you're not catching a lot of heat. That is just, if you drive the speed limit, people are riding behind them and they're honking or flipping you off, and that's if you're going the speed limit. So I don't know.
Commissioner Casanelli.
Thank you, Chair, and thanks, Dustin, for taking a look at this stuff. And with regard to that parallel parking there on Pike, I think, the big concern there for me is, I've got pictures of it, but we've got cars that park right next to the stop sign. I mean, literally next to the stop sign. their bumpers are extending 5 feet out into the street past the stop sign. So I don't know, maybe, and if it's not, I mean, if it's not enforceable, it's a moot point, but I'm thinking, you know, perhaps instead of parallel parking only, we just put, you know, no parking from this sign to the stop sign and have a, you know, 20-foot section there where there's no parking and, but again, is that going to be enforceable? Somebody's going to try to squeeze in there, so. But yeah, it's
Well, and I
problematic. in
believe,
certain
believe the
things.
no parking signs would be enforceable. It's the parallel parking. Because part of that property, I don't believe is in the county right away. There's a section of it from the fence out that isn't county right of way. The rest of it is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's kind of a gray area there. But they're definitely, the majority of their cars are out in the county right of way and sticking clear out into the road. I drove by there yesterday at lunchtime and there was probably 8 or 9 vehicles parked against that fence. And I mean, the smaller compact vehicles weren't sticking out into the road, but there was a couple pickups that were definitely out into the roadway there and right up to the stop sign creating a sight distance issue.
Yeah, and you're aware, you know, we did have a private business owner that put up his own no parking signs and caused its own issues there. But yeah, it's a problem. Just somebody's gonna clip a car trying to just make a right turn, and it's I don't know what we can do. Put a big boulder there or something. It's, I don't know. But thank you for looking into it.
No problem.
Do you have anything? The only thing that I would say is that when you're out there driving around, I live in a subdivision too. And I complain about certain drivers. And that's just because most of them are that I find out are kids or people that just are late to work or something. But they got to drive safe, respect their fellow drivers, and try to stay with the flow of traffic. And half those speed limit signs out there don't keep up with the flow of traffic. That's just the bottom line. So by lowering it, you're just making it worse. So thank you for bringing the report to us.
Thank you.
Oh, that's discussion only, right? Yep. Next item is advisory boards. 17A. Also action appoint up to 1 member to the Silver City Advisory Board with a term expiring December 31st, 2026. Citizen Advisory Board Liaison, Martha Tapia.
Morning. Martha Tapia for the record. The Silver City Advisory Board is a 3-member board. It's been functioning on 2 members as long as I've been here. And so I know they're excited to get their 3rd member filled.
And so we've been advertising for a while.
The advertisement I put out in December. And prior to that, I hadn't done any.
Any comments or questions from the board?
I'll just make a quick comment that I attend the Silver City Advisory Boards, not always, but the last one, you know, was canceled because one of the 2 was not able to make it, and you know, it's really tough to keep that board full. So I'm glad to see that we're going to have a third member.
Any other comments from the board? Take it out to public comment. Is there any public comment? Seeing none in the room, none online, I'll bring it back to the board for a motion.
I will make that motion to appoint Michael Young to the Silver City Advisory Board with a term expiring December 31st, 2026.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Casanelli, second by Commissioner Hockaday. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0. I guess I could have asked to see if he's online or in the room. And I don't see him. So we'll move on to the next item. 17B. For possible action, acknowledge the resignation of Christina Matheson from the Smith Valley Park and Recreation Board. Martha Tapia.
Good morning, Martha Tapia for the record. Ms. Matheson was recently appointed to the board and let us know that she could not fulfill that obligation. And so I'd just like to thank her for applying.
Any comments or questions from the board?
Just thank Kathy for her service on the board.
Go out to the public for public comment.
I'm sorry, Christina.
Seeing none online or in the room, bring it back for a motion.
I'll make a motion. I move to acknowledge the resignation of Christina Matheson from the Smith Valley Park and Recreation Board.
Second.
I have a motion and from Commissioner Hockaday, second by Commissioner Casanelli. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you, Martha. 18A for possible action, approve a no-cost change order with Core Construction to provide a time extension to the owner, Seymour Construction Agreement for the Lyon County Dayton Government Complex project due to delays in obtaining the required building permit, which would add 28 calendar days to the project's final completion date.
Dr. Shayla Holmes, Director, Lyon County Human Services for the record, standing in for County Manager Haskin. Due to weather and permitting delays, that complex has been delayed by 28 days. The county's architect has been working with Central Line Fire to resolve the permitting issues with regards to the location of fire equipment. Community Development has issued a grading permit so Core can get started. This extension only changes the completion date. It does not change the overall cost of the project.
Any questions for Dr. Holmes? Any public comment? Seeing none online, none in the room, bring it back for a motion.
Move to approve a no-cost change order with Core Construction to provide a time extension to the owner Seymour Construction Agreement for the Lyon County Dayton Government Complex project due to delays in obtaining the required building permit, which would add 28 calendar days to the project's final completion date.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Hendricks, second by Commissioner Casanelli. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So does the county complain to the county about the delay in the building permit?
Central Line.
It appears to be Central Line Fire that is the major holdup, yeah. Although Gavin might be able to arm us along.
Well, thank you. 18B for possible action, authorizing the select county managers and county commissioners and county manager to attend the 2026 NACO National Association of Counties Legislative Conference in Washington, D.C., February 21st through the 24th, for an approximate cost of $3,500 per person. I personally would like to attend, and I will just go down the line and see who wants to put their name in. Commissioner Hockaday, Commissioner Casanelli, Commissioner Hendricks,
I would like to go.
and Commissioner Jacobson.
I would just like to make comment before we do this. I will support in looking into this. We have money for 2 people. The county managers out of a different budget just for those sitting in the room. I will not be supporting 3 people going as we do not have the money for it. So if Commissioner Hendricks and Commissioner Keller are volunteering to go, I will support those 2 going.
Do we have any public comment? Seeing none in the room and online, we'll bring it back to the board. And I just wanted to point out some of the stuff that we've done in the past to bring in millions of dollars to our county by going on these trips. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm going to be putting in another agenda request when it comes time. But let me see if I can't pull it up.
I think it's important though, while you're pulling that up, Chair Keller, that differentiate which conference or which trips actually bring and which trips are strictly NACO and whatnot that don't really bring in money. So if we're gonna get a report, I'd like to know which trips bring in the money and which trips are because NACO won't allow either Zoom or whatever to attend virtually and cost the county. So if you can share that as well, that'd be great.
I'll do it briefly, but we do have NACO will be coming and giving a presentation. I think next meeting. And so that will be a great time to do it. But and a short answer to that is that all the meetings, they're tied together. And so all meetings, and you'll find that on the presentation, every meeting goes to the final end goal. And so right now, the House passed a bill on one of the minibuses, and I think it cleared cloture this morning in the Senate, and the president has already said that he's going to approve it, sign it, and so we're going to get $1,938,000 for the Dayton project, the Dayton sewer main and manhole rehabilitation project. So that's another one that we just got. When we do go up to and this is my personal thing that I've learned when you go up there, is when you go to these other meetings and you're talking to the different senators or to the congressmen, and you go up there and you make the time and you get there and you make those relationships. One of the first things and I hate to say it is a little political. They look at when you go up there to ask for a project, they go, have they ever been here? Have they ever done anything? And when the staff says, yes, they've been here on these dates, that says that we have a commitment to it. So then they will approve stuff towards your county because you've made that commitment. They're not going to use their political capital to go and secure funding for you because they use it to come back into your community to say, look what I gave to your community. And if you get those from the federal level and you get it and you don't use it or use it incorrectly, they won't give you time of day in the future. So it's that relationship that you do over time. So all the time that I spent up there, I've built quite a relationship. Another bad thing is you get turnover. So you do build relationships, and this goes with the state too. You build those relationships, and all of a sudden there's somebody new at the table, and so you have to rebuild it. Sometimes staff goes from one congressman to another congressman, but they all so you've got ends with different people. Like the last time I was there for a fly-in, I talked to 5 different senators. That was building the relationships and telling them about Lyon County. The whole time now I'm talking about Lyon County, what's important to us and giving our vision, our experiences and why we need those fundings for a community of $60 million, a budget of $60 million to get a $2 million grant, which would end up on our budget because it is a failing thing. That's the main thing. So I'll leave it at that. We will have a NACO here and they can probably explain better than I can. I went to public comment and bring it back to the board for a motion.
Make a motion that we send Commissioner Hendricks and Commissioner Keller to attend the 2026 National Association of Counties Legislative Conference in Washington, D.C., February 21st to the 24th, for an approximate cost of $3,500 per person.
And the
So-
county manager.
Are you including county manager or not to the county manager?
Yes, county managers, well, even though that's from a separate budget than our county commissioners.
Second it.
We have a motion by Commissioner Jacobson, second by Commissioner Hendricks. Those in favor say aye. Motion passes 5-0. Brings us to agenda requests. We'll start with the right-hand side. Commissioner Jacobson.
No, this time.
I've got two agenda requests. One of the things that I've been working on is working with Loudoun County, Virginia. They, like I spoke before, they have 300 data centers in their county, and if I can make a conference connection with and be able to connect with them and go out and talk to their professionals in that area, I'd like to extend our time in Washington, DC by 1 day, but that'll be the agenda item. And wrote it out, so I got to find it now. What an agenda item. Bear with me. I'll find it right when we're done.
I think you're looking too hard. You gotta slow down, Scott.
Yeah, I'm trying to really find it. Two, I'd like to direct staff to move to direct staff to research data center ordinances and regulatory frameworks, including the establishment of data centers as a separate land use classification within the county code, and to return to the Board of County Commissioners with findings and potential options for future ordinance creation or amendments to existing county code for the board's consideration. And the reason why I'm bringing that forward, just so you would know, to the commission, is basically a data center is more than just a warehouse, and they're built as a warehouse, but they're two different animals. And I think that we should be able to explore that a little bit, where we maybe having a different spot in the regulations for it.
Would that also, in your opinion, you think cut down on the PUD process and all the requests because it would be covered?
I don't know if it will or not. That's why I'm reaching out to them, but it might make it to where people that are bringing in data centers have more of a understanding of what we want instead of just thinking they're building a warehouse. To give you an example, well, wait, tell you what, let's wait till the next agenda item, because I don't want to discuss it because I got good stuff to say about it. So move on to commissioners' comments, starting off with Mr. Jacobson. Commissioner Jacobson.
Nothing at this time.
Commissioner Andrew?
Nothing at this time.
Commissioner Casanelli? Commissioner Hockaday?
Just the celebration of life on Saturday for Robert Garcia.
And I have nothing to add, so it's 11:29. Oh. Go back to public comment.
Good morning, everybody. For the record, my name is Adriana Guzman Freilich, and I'm a candidate for Nevada Attorney General. First of all, thank you, each and every one of you, for your service. I really appreciate it. I really enjoyed being here and listening to all of your business. And so thank you very much. I am an attorney here in Reno, Nevada. I grew up in Northern Nevada. And it's always fun to come out and visit everybody. And so I'm here today, and I appreciate your time, giving me your time. I am not new to public service. I've served on many boards. I also worked for the state government, starting with the State Ethics Commission, the Governor Jim Gibbons. I also work for Public Utilities Commission, the Gaming Control Board and Gaming Commission. And now I have my own law office. I also work for the DA's office, but anyhow, I thank you so much for your time and have a wonderful day. And I look forward to seeing you at the Lincoln Day festivities. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Do we have any other public comment? Seeing none online and none in the room, it's 11:30 and we're adjourned.
Close.